Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it's time for a Dadbod to Daddy transformation vlog, and today was leg day. Started the day off with, again, just beltless high bar squats. One of the things I've noted since my quads and everything have gotten smaller and I haven't really trained them as much as I should, definitely squats are hard. Of course, I'm doing the hardest variation of squats I can do. It's a pretty narrow stance, high bar, beltless. So yeah, this is felt heavy to me. And one of the things I notice when I'm doing these, because my quads are kind of a weak link, I definitely feel my low back a lot on these, and I can only do so much of it. So what I'm doing is just doing these, trying to get as many moderately heavy sets in as I can, maintain the pattern. And if I need to, if I really want to throw some weight on the bar, I may just have to go over to a low bar squat with a wider stance. I can obviously move a lot more weight. Particularly, again, if I take the stance wider, kind of a big deal. So just did 3 sets of 3 with this, and again, challenging on my low back right now. That's just one of the things I've noticed since I've been cutting. But after that, I went ahead and did the belt squats, which have really seemed to be doing a lot as of last week. I did 3 sets of them, adjusted the machine so that I could really get the deep range of motion that I want, and I had really bad quad DOMs for a few days off only 3 sets. So I'm like, we have a winning ticket there. So I went ahead and did more sets of those. I took that same weight I did last time, but instead of 3 sets, I did 6 sets. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do here, I'm going to have to bring the leg volume back up. That is the only way my squat's going to come back up to anything respectable. Got to rebuild the quads. Yes, even though I'm cutting, it may not be the easiest thing in the world, but we're gonna make it work. But again, notice the depth that I get on this now. Now that I've adjusted this and I've changed it to where I've noticed on these belt squats, you have to have something to hold on to. Okay, because of the nature of it, you have to. And yes, I'm aware I'm still holding a little bit of water this week. My body's got to get used to eating all the carbs again. So again, it will. And if I ever want to just drop down and look leaner again, I can probably just drop the carbs out. But again, I also got sick earlier this week, so probably a little bit of overall inflammation. But again, it is what it is. So I did 6 sets of 10 on these, and then I supersetted them with calf raises. Now the calf raises, I went a little heavier, and I did 5 sets of these. And I feel like it's important for me to continue to do the calf work, particularly as I'm cutting, because if I can put any muscle on my calves, or even burn through glycogen and everything in my calves, my energy turnover is going to go way up. So this is potentially a very good thing. So again, I may do calves on both lower days because I have this squat day and then I have a posterior chain day, right? So I might end up working them in on the posterior chain day also because again, just like I end up with 2 arm days because of the chest and back, I feel like, again, really doubling down on the calf work will absolutely continue to help me get leaner, mainly because they just help you burn so many calories. And yes, there's actually a lot of backstory on how calves help with that. In fact, one of the things that they've noted is that the best marathon runners in the world come from a certain specific tiny part of the world. It's from Kenya and Ethiopia, and it's what they noticed there is that they literally have 30% less muscle fibers in their calves. And that makes for amazing marathon runners because they just burn less calories while they're running. They burn way less calories. It's a huge advantage. So in the case of when you think of it from that perspective, and that's been measured, it's been noted, like they've taken the people with that lower number of muscle fibers and realized, wow, they burn way less calories. They burn less carbs, less calories, less energy running. So kind of if you think about it, big calves can do the opposite, right? It can help you burn more calories. So again, might be a case if I need to continue to double down on the calf training and calf development purely because of the potential benefits for just energy turnover, right? Just walking around, just doing other stuff, just doing cardio. Again, it may behoove me to do that. So it's something I'm gonna continue to do, and I think it's probably important at this point. And yes, I'm aware I have good calf genetics. People always point, they're like, what do you do for your calves? I didn't train them for a long time. I've really only started training them again in the last year. I didn't train them for 20 years. I just haven't had to. But, if we double down on that and go, okay, can getting the bigger calves help me get leaner? Can it help raise my metabolic rate? And I think the answer there is yes. And particularly because, again, big calves are involved in our walking and any other cardio that we do, because we have to swing them, we have to move them. And then on top of the fact that those muscles contract with every step. Okay? So from that perspective, there's a potential lot to be said for just building your calves. And besides the fact that big ripped calves actually look good, people notice them, particularly when you're in shorts, right? And for bodybuilding purposes, they're definitely a big deal, even though I don't compete in bodybuilding. So again, worth noting. But really, this workout was very, very, very simple. Three moderately heavy sets of squats. All right, doing the whole high bar thing. And like I said, I may change that over just so that I can move bigger weight. But right now, it's not really a priority to try to move bigger weights. And if anything, if I wanted to do that too, I could consider going back over to box squats if I wanted also, right? Because again, box squats carry over anyways to the back squat, and they put less stress on the low back. So it's also something I've considered going back and just doing box squats, right? And then using which is how I built my squat wall back up past 500 a few years ago. Right, tons and tons of box squats, and then just use the belt squat to continue to build the quads. So it might be something I do, but I have to think about, do I really care about the big squat at the moment, or do I just care about building my legs for bodybuilding purposes, right? Because I'm really physique oriented at the moment. So it's something I have to think about a little bit, but in the meantime, at least I'm coming in and getting a squat pattern in. Right, we're coming in and getting something done. But again, if I go over to the box squats, it's going to be the wide stance. It's going to be the really wide grip, getting that bar a little lower down the back. But again, notice that I do struggle a little bit to stay upright with the high bar. And a lot of it has to do with the quad weakness, right? My quads are the weak link in my lower body at the moment. And so there's a compensatory strength there because my glutes, hamstrings, all of that are super strong, which we know from my other stuff. So again, it's a matter of building the quads back up. But that can be done doing large volumes of the belt squats. They're fantastic for that. And again, we just continue to work the calves because, again, building both will actually help with the cutting though. Big quads, big calves. Think about the muscles involved in just walking around. Just higher energy turnover. But overall, not super happy with how heavy the squats felt today, but I'll accept it while I'm cutting. Happy with the rest of the workout. I already know I'm going to have DOMs tomorrow, right? We already know that's going to be the case. I'm just ready to deal with it. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.